caught me going through some of our fan mail since our initial episode debuted. You guys are great. Keep the letters coming. Hey, in last week's episode, we mentioned that we bought this 2019 Ford Transit. Well, in this week's episode, we'd like to share with you a video of the journey of how we made such a complex decision, using advanced scientific algorithms, of course. Oh, and afterwards, we'd like to share with you our recommendations for the top things to do before you buy a van. In the meantime, check this video out. On our way to get the van rental from Enterprise.
So we've got the van. This is kind of fun. At first they tried to give us the ProMaster. They told us the tags on the Transit were expired. But they made some calls and they fixed things. And we've got the Transit. Steve's driving it. We're going to take it on the highway. He's going to see how that feels. Then we're going to take it to a parking lot at a mall area to see what that's like, kind of with parking and stuff. So I'm going to follow him now. Here we go.
Our first stop was the local mall where we spent some time getting comfortable navigating with the van.
Yeehaw. This isn't so bad. Should I try to get under that? I don't think we did. Seeing how it navigates. See how many people I can hit. It's trees, isn't it?
We later found some traffic cones in a quiet corner of the parking lot and practiced parking. It wasn't always as easy as you might expect.
Nope. You'd be... You'd be cheating now. That's not the right one.
About the one right next to the one.
Right. So you're fine so far. And then you need to... Wait, stop. Pull back a little bit so I can see where you had been. So that's probably alright.
After getting our fill of navigating, we headed home to pack up the van.
Alright, so we're back at the house with the cargo van. It's all empty. And we are going to load it up. We are going to take it to a state park tonight. We're going to load it up with our spare mattress set, hopefully the bikes and some other things. When we first saw this, we were afraid the bed wouldn't fit right here, but I just measured and we think it's going to just perfectly fit. Perfect.
After loading up the van, we headed to a state park in Hobe Sound, Florida.
Alright, we just arrived at Jonathan Dickinson State Park, just pulling in. So here we are at our campsite. Time to unload.
After we unloaded, we hopped on our bikes and went to explore the park.
Our first overnight in the van went pretty well. In the morning, we couldn't get our camp stove to work, so we scrounged for whatever wood we could find and made breakfast with our mountain pie makers.
After downing our plywood-flavored eggs, we spent more time exploring the beautiful park and admiring the flowers and wildlife. Before we checked out of the campsite, we met some great people and admired our neighbor's friendly parrot, then spent some time working at our computers to get a taste of what it would be like to work on the road.
On our way out of the park, we stopped by the observation tower at Hobe Mountain and climbed up to the top to get a nice view of the surrounding area. We loved being able to look down from the tower and see the van. It was easy to imagine the future with a van of our own.
Next, we spent some time exploring some of Jupiter, Florida. We stopped by the intracoastal, we made some lunch from the food we had packed the day before.
Too good?
Swam, and enjoyed some time relaxing in the sun. Later that evening, we parked on US 1 along the beach and sat in the van with the slider open, playing Rubbing Cube, and enjoying the ocean breeze and view.
That night, we drove back home to sleep overnight in our driveway with our cats to introduce them to van life. They did wake us up often throughout the night, but they didn't seem stressed or unhappy, so that was a good sign. In the morning, we also took them for a short drive to see how they would do with the van moving. We're hoping they'll settle into this new chapter and be happy van life kitties. Overall, the van rental was a success.
It's hard to believe that was over a year ago. And now we'd like to share with you some things we've learned along the way.
Before renting the Transit, we spent months doing homework on RVs, vans, and van life. We've put together a list for you of the top things we recommend doing before purchasing a van or other RV. Number 1. Watch and read videos and blogs from van lifers. We spent literally hundreds of hours studying videos and blogs by van lifers, such as Trent Allie, Far Out Ride, Explorist Life, Vanessa and Adam, Moser Makes, and many others. I don't think there's a more valuable tool out there than the online treasure trove of information. Number 2. Make a list of your priorities and requirements.
What are the things that are important to you? We made an initial list, but soon realized that some items took priorities over others. Things to consider might include whether or not to have a shower, windows in the back, bike storage, kitchen, or enough height to stand. We plan to talk about some of these things in future videos.
Number 3. Look at and test drive some vans and RVs. Early on, we went to RV shows and car dealerships and test drove some different RVs and cargo vans. This helped us narrow down our search. Number 4. Rent a van and try it out.
As you saw earlier in this video, renting a van was an important step before making a purchase.
While it was a bit of an expense, we knew the investment was worth it to get a taste of van life. Number 5. Develop a potential layout.
While we still had the rental van, we took some time to map out the potential layout for the build we had in mind.
We wanted to make sure there was enough space in the van to accommodate all the list of items we had as must-haves.
Audra had made sketches of potential design concepts, and we took advantage of having the van to see how those ideas would actually work.
We taped off areas, made lots of measurements, and set some things up to get a feel for the space we'd have to work with if we bought the Transit. Number 6. Make a budget of monthly expenses and anticipated costs. One of the most important steps in the process was making sure that we could afford the purchase of the van and the related expenses.
We created a monthly budget based on those anticipated expenses. This includes things such as vehicle registration, insurance, food, gas, van repairs, and possible gym membership.
We also made a list of anticipated build expenses. This included small items such as hardware, wood, wiring, plumbing components, insulation, and curtains, on up to bigger items like solar panels, power generator, roof vent, windows, and a 12-volt refrigerator.
We calculated the cost of traveling with a van compared to other traditional methods.
Number 7, shop for insurance. Getting insurance for a converted van can be quite complicated and very frustrating.
We recommend calling various insurance companies to find out your options and the potential costs.
Number 8, lastly, start looking for the right van. Once we made the decision to go ahead with buying a van, it took us several months before we finally found the right one for us. We knew we didn't want a brand new van, so we monitored online listings to get a feel for the market and enlisted the help of a trusted used car dealership in another state to help us find our van.
And then eventually the right van came along. Though this list isn't exhaustive, we found these things to be important to us.
And we hope they're helpful to you. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be sharing Steve's trip up to get our van and why we chose it.
Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to follow along on the adventure with us.
Complex decision. Using advanced scientific algorithms, of course. Well, in this week's episode, we'd like to share with you a video that I just realized is not prepped. Afterwards, we'd like to share with you the top things we've learned that I forgot. Afterwards, we'd like to share with you our top... Now here we are at our own van. Now here we are today. All right. Now we hear... We'd like to share with you some things we've learned along the way.
Before van...
Oh,
Sorry.
this is going to take forever. We made an initial list of things that we thought were important, but soon realized that I'm just making up lines. Some took priority over others. Is that anywhere close? What's a priority to you?
Well, it was a bit of an expense. We knew it was worth the investment to have that time to spend in an extended period in the van.
As you saw earlier, renting a cargo van was an important step in the process for us before making a purchase. Important step in the process before buying a van.
We knew it was a bit of an expense.
We also calculated... Ow, bit my tongue.
Getting insurance.
This list to be important to us. Is that right?
Yeah.
You should know that it's 1,000 degrees in this van right now. The great lengths we go to provide content for you, our viewers.
Our whole second episode.
All 2 of our viewers. We calculated the cost of traveling with a van compared to other traditional methods. We did it.
Nailed it.
Oh,
Okay.
woof.
Here.
Oof.